Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. And all over the world, people are wasting their time with doomsday nonsense. The key date, of course, is the 21st of December 2012, which is based on misrepresentations of the Mesoamerican long count calendar. The simple fact is, the Maya never predicted the end of the world, and this has been reported for years. According to Mexico's National Institute for Anthropological History, no Mayan text predicts the end of the world. Eric Velázquez, etching specialist at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, also puts it clearly. There is no prophecy for 2012. In fact, modern-day Mesoamericans are pretty fed up with it. They view the whole thing with a mixture of confusion, exasperation, and anger. And why wouldn't they? There is no concept of apocalypse in Mayan culture, says Jesus Gomez, head of the Guatemalan Confederation of Mayan Priests and Spiritual Guides. He should know what their culture said, and he does know. And Mayan elder Chili Pishtun just got fed up with the whole thing when he visited Britain. Even the discovery of calendars at Xultun, Guatemala, stretching more than 7,000 years into the future, isn't enough to stop the 2012 nutters. Another clue that this latest doomsday prediction is pure unadulterated horse shit that nobody should worry about is the simple fact that its proponents can't agree on how the world is supposed to end. Which seems strange because they all claim to have irrefutable proof. Will it be an alignment of the Sun, Earth and galactic core? No, they don't align on the 21st. The angular separation is lowest on the 18th. Nothing is going to happen then either. This so-called alignment happens twice every year, and we're still here. Will it be an alignment of the planets? No. Will it be the opposition of Jupiter? No. That happens every 398.9 days. It happened on the 3rd of December, and we're still here to tell the tale. Or will it be Nibiru, a supposed extraplanet with wings that's also a brown dwarf, a comet, and an entire solar system that was supposed to be visible to the naked eye from 2009, but is now only visible in broad daylight when using a cheap camera or looking through glass, even though the thing is supposed to be virtually invisible and hiding behind the sun before it attacks the South Pole. Do you get the impression that its proponents don't know what they're talking about? The total invalidity of these and all other doomsday claims has been dealt with by many people. So here's a quick summary of evidence supporting every doomsday claim put forward so far. The Nibiru nonsense is perhaps the most persistent of the 2012 claims. From reading the excellent work of Dr. Michael Heiser, it doesn't take much effort to examine the second N volume of the Chicago Assyrian Dictionary, the result of 90 years of hard work by people who do know what they're talking about. On page 147, you'll find that Nibiru is one Sumerian word for Jupiter. You can also find this in the summary for the word on page 145. So why are doomsday crapstirrers claiming that it's another planet? And why aren't they harping on about a ferryboat crashing into Earth? In 1995, some bint from Wisconsin, Nancy Lyder, claimed to have been chosen by aliens communicating through an implant in her brain to warn mankind that a planet-sized object would cause a pole shift of Earth and destroy most of humanity. In May 2003. The response to this should have been a recommendation of professional help, but in 1995 the internet was becoming popular. Anyone with a computer was able to add their ill-conceived mind bilge to the information superhighway. The idea quickly spread among the self-confirming hive mind of the credulous. Lyder claimed that comet Hale-Bopp did not exist, and was a fraud perpetuated by those who would have the teeming masses quiescent until it is too late. She also said it was nothing more than a distant star. The comet was visible to the naked eye for 18 months. It was seen by billions of people. Not bad for something that doesn't exist, that walked like a comet and quacked like a comet. May 2003 came and went. Now you might have thought that even the most credulous person would have smelled a rat and given themselves a reality check. And you would be wrong. They simply fixated on the next Doomsday date instead. Fools the world over believed that comet Elenin, discovered by Russian Leonid Elenin, posed a danger to Earth and stood for extinction-level event Nibiru is near. You can't make this stuff up, but they do. It was supposed to eclipse the Sun for 3 days from the 26th of September 2011. Actually, it was 4 kilometers across and disintegrated when it was hit by a coronal mass ejection. The remnant never got closer than 34.98 million kilometers. Although it has been rubbished countless times, some believe that this star, V838 Monocerotis, and its light echo, are a planet. Apparently this planet must be both translucent, because you can see distant stars behind it, and f***ing massive, because it dwarfs the stars in front of it. Anyone who thinks that this is a planet, let alone one near our solar system, really isn't thinking beyond, it's a photo of space, I don't know what it is, therefore Nibiru. Luckily for Nibiru tards, V838 Monocerotis decided to become a star again over the next 4 years. They also claim that the South Pole Telescope has imaged the planet. Since it doesn't exist and the South Pole Telescope is a microwave and radio telescope, that would be a challenge. Perhaps this is why believers also claim that Nibiru is hiding behind the Sun. But wait, this Doomsday and Nibiru stuff is all harmless nonsense, isn't it? No. Resources are diverted and wasted trying to alleviate the impact of this crap. Senior scientist at the NASA Astrobiology Institute at Ames, David Morrison, has now received over 5,000 questions about Nibiru. Some correspondents aren't happy to be reassured. He also started receiving abusive and/or accusatory messages, a sample of which is provided on the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry's website. Here's a selection.
I can't believe this. You still have the gall to lie to the whole world about Planet X Nibiru. How dare you do that? Yet you keep on calling yourself a senior scientist. Shame on you. People must keep on knocking on your door until you give up and come clean.
No. How about we wait until the 22nd of December and ask, how dare you call someone qualified a liar when you have nothing to support your position? Sorry, but you say that Nibiru is a hoax, doesn't exist, so maybe the Sumerian people doesn't exist also. Nibiru does exist, and it's the new planet discovered in 2005, size of Pluto. Oh, you mean Eris, which isn't a planet. It is nowhere near Earth, and never will be. This was all publicly available information, but hey, you know best. It's possible to say that this planet-giant orbit passes between Sun and Earth and causes the glacier eras to happen. Well, yes, it's possible to say that, but it doesn't change the fact that saying it and reality are two very different things. By the way, the moon is made of cheese. I talk about the facts. No, you're actually talking bollocks. Facts, like science usually does, so how can you say it's a hoax? Very easily, by the application of facts, reason, observations, measurements, and the fact that conspiratards are talking shit. Morrison also receives messages from people asking if and when they should kill themselves. Sadly though, he also receives messages from children who are contemplating suicide. Well, their parents will reassure them, surely. Not necessarily. Morrison said that one letter was from a middle school teacher in Stockton, California, who said that the parents of a student were planning to kill their kids and themselves. In 2008, a 16-year-old girl living in Madhya Pradesh, India, committed suicide by drinking insecticide. She had watched doomsday predictions about the Large Hadron Collider. In September 2011, Isabel Taylor hanged herself due to anxiety over 2012 doomsday nonsense. She had read numerous web pages about end-of-the-world scenarios. This isn't just harmless crack pottery. The crazed ramblings of a couple of nutters years ago are now completely out of hand. People who've been sucked in, who are genuinely concerned about Nibiru, needn't be. It doesn't exist. Do yourself a favour and take a look at 2012hoax.org. It deals with all the Doomsday rubbish, more than I can summarise here. Realise that 2012 nutjobs have misled you, and will continue to do so in future, unless you increase your standards for information acceptance. Choose your reading and viewing material more carefully. Pick up some books on science, or read from reputable sources. There is so much that's actually worth learning about. People who peddle lies about the end of the world are hopelessly deluded. When December the 22nd rocks up just like it does every year, how many of them will apologise to the people they've caused untold misery to the parents of those who have committed suicide, and to the scientists whose time they have wasted as credulous people fall for their crap? Will any of the charlatans who have sold books and other media perpetuating this nonsense use any of their earnings to redress the mess their attention-whoring bullshit has caused? After December 22nd, the best thing the world can do is stop listening to these idiots. If you peddle doomsday crap, grow up and stop being such a sociopathic waste of space. If you can't grow up, then do the world a favour and shut up.